Hi everyone. So today's topic I want to talk about is this idea of the one. And I've come to learn that there's many different names given, and I mean the most common one that we are born to learn is called SoulMate. And I've recently discovered a new term called TwinFlame. And again, the ideas that we are ingrained with, I'd like to kind of myth bust that in a sense, just to kind of create some clarity, some from my personal life experience that I've had to date, and also just share with you what I think about the differentiation between the two. I must say, probably, I'm one of many, and also one of the very few in species, part of the humans, that I really do have a longing to find my one. I mean, everyone says they do, but there's a lot of people that I've met out there that are very, very happy to be a bachelor or bachelorette. But since I was born, I've just had this quite deep, profound yearning to find my person. And so I've, in my dynamic, gone from a lot of long-term relationships from one to the next, sort of being so open-hearted and just believing that the universe has brought me the right person into my life and that this is meant to be, and I'll have that typical American romance in the sense that I can meet my high school sweetheart and then we just get married and just lead and live the perfect life that, you know, that we're born to believe is possible. Now that I'm nearly 30, I've quickly learned that's not really the case, unfortunately. Or maybe not, maybe I've yet to experience that. But in terms of two concepts, I've learned about soulmate and then the twin flame connection. And I think for me, I've been very fortunate and blessed enough to have met two profound characters or people in my life who represent those different archetypes. But what I want to myth bust basically is that these people that come into your life, whether it's your twin flame, whether it's your soulmate, or whatever title or identity you'd like to give it, doesn't necessarily mean that they are the one that's going to be with you forever and married and everything's going to be la-ti-da and perfect. No. Actually, what I believe is that these people represent, or these beings represent, really, really powerful significance in your life. They are the one that will help change you dramatically or drastically and bring an awakening to you. And that may even be through not so happy experiences or through trauma. I'm of the belief system and philosophy that, and I have a tattooed on my body that says, without struggle, there's no progress. And what I believe in that sense is that if we never had any hardship in our life or any suffering, we become complacent. Because when things are easy, we can just float and there will be no stimulation or challenge or anything to trigger us to awaken, basically. So it's through trauma or difficulties or suffering that basically helps arise the quality in us to actually yearn for more, to question life. I mean, I think people who have fundamentally made drastic life changes is through a state of suffering. So, you know, maybe someone had some big disease or illness, maybe some abuse, maybe some family difficulty, maybe some relationship difficulty, maybe career difficulty, financial difficulty. I mean, you know, the ranges are quite, there's quite a few boxes to tick, or maybe they tick all of them, you never know. And as a result of that difficulty, that helps you awaken. So I think, and I imagine it like a video game, you have different checkpoints, and these are different checkpoints in your life. And I also believe that when you get incarnated, you've already pre-contractually agreed who you're going to meet, how you're going to meet them, why you're going to meet them, what lesson you're going to learn. So I believe that these people who are your soulmates or your twin flames are actually people who are there to help trigger the awakening further in you, to help you reach further and deepen your practice to become enlightened. And, you know, I will say his name because his name's Christian, was my definitely formed soulmate. It was really the most difficult relationship I've ever had in my life. But in that blessing, instead of playing victim, see it in an enlightened experiences. This was a blessing because he taught me so much. And that's been so rewarding because now I know who I am, or more who I am as a person. I know more what I want from life, and I have more of a focused direction. And I am forever grateful because he has been my biggest teacher. And even though our relationship didn't end really well, I will always have deep, profound love for him because he was someone who brought a torch to my dark world and really helped illuminate and provide experiences that I could grow, that I could wake up. And the place that I was in wasn't a permanent, it was a state of impermanence. But in the moment, you don't know that, do you? You always think, oh my God, is this going to end? Is this life? This is horrible, blah, 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 blah. And yes, even though we have now separated, ever since our encounter and our long-term relationship, it's been a drastic awakening. And I really can't have imagined my life without him. I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm forever grateful. And that's what I believe a soulmate should be for someone in your life, is that person who you know you would be someone completely different, or you wouldn't know who you would be today without that person coming into your life, right? And then there's that beautiful karmic connection. And whether you'll meet again in the next one, or maybe you'll do a role reversal. But in that dynamic, what I saw that we did for each other was that we were big reflective mirrors. Every little trauma or insecurity or issue I ever had, or trigger that I ever had, that I so defensively tried to keep hidden because it was a bad trait, or is a bad trait, that I've learned from my family. Because in my parents' dynamic, my father used to internalize all of his issues and would never speak about it, and you'd never even know that he was upset or something. He'd just go quiet and that's it. You wouldn't even know. And my mum, when faced with conflict, would run away from it. So that's the kind of upbringing that I've learned on how to manage things, which is obviously not healthy. But as a result of that, Christian helped me basically bring out everything, my insecurity, my jealousy, my triggers, my traumas, things I didn't want to face, issues I didn't even know I had. And he really unrooted all of that and brought it to the surface, because that was the beautiful gift he offered me, is I need to look at my shit. And I thought, oh, look at my stuff, sorry, this is one video. And I thought, oh wow, that's a lot to handle. What do I do with that? And I've been slowly carving away at it, as the years have gone by, really trying to improve myself. So forever grateful. And I think that's what a soulmate is, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be together. If you maybe contractually agreed that, that's going to be the dynamic, then great, but probably unlikely, because, now that you've achieved that lesson, you need to continue on learning more lessons, and that means karmically attracting different energetic connections or relations into your life. Anyway, twin flame, and I'm not going to mention his name because he knows clearly who he is, and if he watches this video, he'll know clearly I'm talking about him. A twin flame is really, really a powerful, remarkable dynamic that I have always wished for, and I've been so grateful to experience it. And the best way to explain it is that you are a twin, literally, like doppelganger. For this person who I've met from literally a different continent and a different age group. Sorry, my mouse keeps telling me up, so I keep having to move it. different age group, different upbringing, different background, different culture, different needs, different schooling, you know, literally to a point that you are so different in how you were born and raised and where, how, what, and why, that it would seem on paper illogical that you would be so similar. But you are, because you're a twin, right? You're a doppelganger. Down to behaviors, mannerisms, expressions, philosophies, thought processes, the way of thinking, the way of being, the way of doing, even similarities in conditions, you know, whether it's physical, emotional, and way to deal with things at the same time. So I thought, like, that is just profoundly incredible, you know, because I have some quite unique mannerisms and very strange quirks that make me the way that I am. And to have actually found someone in this life who, as I call it, epiphaniacally, so someone who makes signs and patterns from unrelated things, you know, mimics the way that I am and the way that I behave. And, you know, it's as if you're re-meeting your other half, your twin, your flame from the same group, right? Even soulmate, it's your soul group, you know, someone from the same tribe that's coming through. And I believe that twin flame is exactly the same thing, but it's just a deeper connection. But with that said, you may not necessarily end up with your twin flame, because again, what these two archetypes are bringing is awakening. And that is your fundamental mission and goal, is your awakening, your state, or endeavor to become enlightened, right? So you may contractually agree that you come in here to help awaken each other, but then your mission is complete. Or you might agree, come in, awaken each other, and be together. But, you know, I can't tell you what you've agreed, because that's the hard part. We don't remember what we did upstairs before we came down here, when we decided to lose that level of awareness, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to learn the human lessons that we do if we remembered everything above, because we have to treat it as if it's a brand new experience, which often it is, right? There will be some stages of familiarity for sure, or deja vu, but anyway, yeah, and I've been very, very fortunate to encounter these two different archetypes to date, but unfortunately both are not, in appearance, well, the latter, my twin, is not what I thought it would be. You know, I just imagine that you are exactly the same, you want the same things, you are the same, and you would just by default be together. And unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. And in that sense, there's a sadness, of course, and I'm sure you can hear it, but I just flipped that on its head to think, okay, what am I to learn from this? And that's what I want to invite you today. If you feel that you've had characters in your life that represent these types of archetypes, do you know how to differentiate between them? Maybe you have yet to have them arrive in your life, or one arrive in your life, because maybe you're still like on the mission, waiting to get to that checkpoint. And ask yourself, what are the lessons that I've learned from these people? What would my life have been like without this character or this archetype? Can you even imagine your life without having had the influence or the essence of them influencing you in some way or form? I'd be very interested to know, whoever watches this video, how you feel about it, or your thoughts on the matter. I'm saying a lot today, by the way, I don't know why. And just to see what people are thinking, what they're feeling. Do you resonate with this? Do you not believe in anything I say, or you have found your one and you'd love to just share that beautiful, harmonious experience? Because I'd love to be a part of that. And that's all I have to say today. Okay, sending you lots of love. Bye.